Alright, hell yeah. We're gonna tune these keys behind me, and we got a file from Lowe's for about $9. We got this iron for $6. So I'm gonna say under $20, we're gonna see if we can do a professional tune. And that even goes for, we're not even gonna use these ski clamps. We're just gonna use blocks of wood and maybe clamps that you would have around a home shop. So definitely still under $20. Let's get to it. Alright, hell yeah. Let's get this on top of my head. And the first thing up is just kind of getting a stand. So all I have is just like a big block of wood, and then we kind of, we C-clamped it to a table. You know what I mean? So you could just do that with any table, you know, have some sort of wood chunk that's actually kind of clamped down. And that's what we're going to use. So let's get rid of these, because even something like this is going to cost you maybe $100 even just for those. Okay, so what I have, and what I also want is it at the right elevation. That's going to fall. Holy Toledo. Alright, so the right elevation for me, since I got back pain, is pretty hella high. So that's what we have right here. And let's get this ski. Now, can you see anything? Let's get the GoPro kind of oriented. Okay, hell yeah. But I just got to be careful, because if I go down here, I don't think you can see that. I think I need to angle it up like that. But when we're right here, I need to get this angle. All right, let's get on some light. Now, I do slow videos, so you just might want to fast forward to the actual good stuff. All right, hell yeah. So we got a little bit of light. So we do have one area that needs to be P-texed. So what I like to do is I just use these, you know what I mean? So I just grab a a razor blade. Now it'd be nice if you get a new one, you know, sharp as possible, but these can't be more than a few cents, maybe up to a buck each, but you can probably get them in bulk. And so we're just gonna come in here and clean that up. You know, if you can kind of get under there and see some daylight, you know what I mean? I mean, you wanna, don't take off too much. I mean, because, I don't know. You know what I mean? You probably have to remove it. If it is peeling up underneath, you'll probably have to remove it all. But even just like right here, hell yeah, we got a little bit of, it's probably got a little bit of an air gap between the base. You can just see the discoloration on that. But we're not going to open that up anymore. Okay, I'm just going to check for smaller scratches, because when I get into the P-texing, I just want to kind of hit everything at once, because the P-tex is pretty toxic. So I'm just going to get this other ski also up here, and we're just going to give it the once over. So yeah, I have a big wound there. I mean, just kind of like a flake. So we're just going to trim that. And I don't know, you know what I mean? You don't want to make the gouge any worse, even if you can't get it perfect. I mean, just any bigger. I really don't enjoy, you know, people just really gouging out, you know, making this 4 times the size. There's no reason for that. Okay, hell yeah. So that's it. I got maybe one spot there. Just gonna put this here for now. So now we're gonna grab our P-tex. I don't think I have a lighter down here. I may. So we might be able to just rock and roll. But yeah, you know, P-tex, it's probably going to cost you, I think this was probably like actually the cheapest thing you can buy at the ski shop. You get a few sticks for like $4. It was not that expensive. So we're going to use a stick of clear. And like I said, we do need a lighter. So let me, and I don't think I have alright, so let me get a lighter, catch you on the flip side. Alright, hell yeah. So we're ready to P-tex. Now, I'm going to turn on a fan. And I don't want it blowing on the P-tex. But we're just going to get it going this direction. And, hell yeah, might as well get it going pretty fast. So it's going to be kind of loud, but whatever. You get used to it. And I'm just going to actually clamp this down. So I could clamp it at the end or just clamp it in the middle. If you clamp it somewhere in the middle, you know what I mean, then it'll kind of hold pretty rigid. So yeah, I don't need to do any P-texing around there, none up here. And so right there, and then maybe hit here and here, and then we'll go grab that other ski. So I'm gonna put the respirator on, and we do have our lighter. I've never done a candle before, so we'll see if this is a hit or miss. I've typically just like lit it like this, but I'm gonna see if a candle is the way to go. So, and you're gonna see a technique of, you know, making sure that we get this real close, get a blue flame, not a lot of yellow flame. You can break it vertical, but maybe you get more carbon, so we're gonna play around with that. But once we get a really low blue flame, and this is kind of gooey hot, we're gonna come in here and then kind of lay that goo in. Instead of dripping, we're trying to like pull that goo in. And then we can push down with this tool. Now this tool is gonna cost you $100. So what we want is maybe a chunk of metal to push down. So let me go grab a chunk of metal. I think you should be able to find some sort of, you know, chunk of metal. And let's see, we can even just get a paint can. Hell yeah. So we're just gonna use this paint can. And so there you go. So we even have our chunk of metal. So we can, if we need to, we can push down and add pressure. We probably don't need to. All right, so hell yeah, let's do this. All right, so respirator is on. And when I get down here, you know what I mean, get in the position where you're gonna be. Okay, hell yeah. And then can you see anything? So I think you can see, I think you need to be just a little bit up. So I think now you can kind of see what's going on. So that's the best elevation. So I'll kind of crook down just so you can kind of see what's happening. Here we go. Yeah, and I don't think the candle's the way to go, but we'll see. It might be. Yeah, I don't think the candle's the way to go. It's too sooty. See how you get all that carbon to build up? So we really just want a clean burn. So hell yeah. So let's just get kind of right in here. We're gonna light this up. Yeah, you just don't want any carbon. So you just want to get that blue flame. And that makes sense, is that the whatever the propane in this thing, propane in the lighter, burns real hot. And you can see that carbon, but we just don't have a lot, and we'll probably be able to drip it off. So I'm just kind of slowly heating it. Until it gets kind of hot enough to stay lit. And then even down here, I'm trying to, and I might have too much airflow in this basement. I don't need to shout. Alright, I kind of need to switch hands. But yeah, the lower you get it, the bluer the flame. And then you can just get it. See how there's no carbon buildup? You know what I mean? Just a little bit, you can kind of see that. And see how we're not wasting anything. We just got like one drip at a time, just hardly dripping at all. So what we're basically doing is just prepping this and getting it heated up before we go to lay it in. Now, I might do a pre-game on this, because I might need to actually just drip kind of one drop and let that freeze, because we are down all the way to the base. So I'm just doing one drop at a time, kind of letting that freeze in there, and then drip another one. Okay, so let's go to these scratches. So we're gonna do this, and then we're just gonna kind of pull it along. And you can see even some of the bits of carbon kind of flare to the outside. So that's good. I'm just running my hand down here for smooth, and then I'm just rotating my... And see, the flame is still pretty blue.
But we got too much airflow in this basement, so I do need to turn that fan the hell down. So let's keep this, try to keep this. But yeah, we got to get this air down. It's too much air. There we go. We're just still trying to keep that blue flame. Okay, hell yeah. So now we're ready to maybe come back here. Get our paint can at the ready, just in case. I don't think it might not be the best idea with the colored metal, painted metal. Alright, so we're just going to try to lay this in. So we're going to get it so that blue flame is getting hot. We're going to go till we're just ready to lay. Yeah, there's a piece of carbon. So now we're just going to lay that in. Oh, we got a big chunk. That sucked. But whatever. See if I can get that out of there. Nope, that kind of got laid in. But, just kind of get that down there. Now I'm going to push down and just hold. You don't want to like rock it back and forth. But essentially just kind of a big cold piece of metal is going to cool that. You know what I mean? You got a lot of liquid in here too. It's hella flammable, but... Well, I'm not able to apply a lot of pressure just because this can's pretty soft. But anyway, so now that it's kind of efficiently cooled, yeah, I can still hold that pressure. Still got the P-Tex going just a little bit. Hell yeah. So now you have a nice smooth weld, because P-Tex just gets hella too hot. And so that'll just boil in there. And so let's go down the length of this. See how it's all gooey? This is like exactly what you want. Just a little bit hotter though. But hell yeah, because, damn it. Just have a little bit of carbon. But now I'm just kind of dabbing that goo in there. Now you really can't pull it like taffy, just because like that little gooey spot doesn't want to let go. But still, this is best practice. You're getting the lowest temperature, and you can see even when it gets hot, it wants to start to boil and make air bubbles even in the P-Tex itself. Kind of the similar way that epoxy would. I think it's just hitting a different temperature differential. Alright, so hell yeah. So, maybe one more. Okay, let's see if I can put this... Oh, okay, it went out. That's alright. Bummer. Alright, hell yeah. So we're gonna get this right there. Gonna pop up this one. Slide up again. But yeah, see how there's no carbon on here? You know what I mean? So we're just doing really good. You want an environment that's no wind. You can't do this outside. I tried yesterday. It totally sucked. But yeah, see how we got some white flame? But you're just trying to balance that white with the blue. And yeah, okay, so we got a spot here. And then, yeah, come out early, because you might have some, you know what I mean, carbon. And see, now we're just, yeah, we still got some carbon. It's kind of a bummer, so we're going to keep pulling. Yeah, where's all that carbon coming from? That's kind of a bummer. Alright, so now we're pretty clear. So I'm going to go over that spot. And even... I mean, if you're able to, I think it is a good idea to have something, you know what I mean, do a little P-Tex. That ain't going anywhere. But something to flatten that out, because you do get any large wound will start to boil. And even with the guns, you do the same thing. You lay it in and then you cool it and press it. So you're doing two actions. you're trying to cool the PTEX. And so I think we're officially done here. We got maybe like a couple more. We're gonna come in here. See, hell yeah, see now we're just really clear. Look at that. Oh, and it's pulling like taffy. So that one was perfect. You know what I mean? So this is the money shot right there. I mean, you get your PTEX like this with clear. There's no carbon. You're just pulling it like taffy. Oh, hell yeah. Okay, and I hope you can see this. I've been striking out. And so I think it's a good idea to just go right back. Just like press that into the, you know what I mean? Because this ain't going nowhere. It keeps that blue flame. And then I can pop it up. And now I'm just still clear. So that's pretty cool. So I have like, I can put it here. And because I don't do a lot of this work because I've just always been in a shop with guns. But no one's really taken the time to master the stick. You know what I mean? Well, you would if you welded every day. But people aren't doing this every day. And pretty much most of the pro shops are going to use... It's harder to scrape PTEX out of the guns. I think because this is hotter and it actually gets like I don't know if it's oxygenated or carbonated or whatever, but I don't know if it's the actual, I don't think the stick is any different composition. It could be compared to the bigger sticks. But hell yeah, kind of neat. Look for a few more scratches, but I think we're good. I mean, you can just practice. You know what I mean? It's kind of cool. Just pull that like taffy, because then it's like kind of the perfect temperature, not too hot. All right, so we're gonna be done. Hell yeah, we did it. Gonna get a quick cool on this. All right. Okay, hell yeah. And then what I'm gonna do, because it actually makes the process so much better for the bigger wounds, we're gonna take these skis outside and just let them cool off in the snow. And then we're gonna come back. We're gonna be able to cut and shave right through that just way better, because it's still warm. It's still warm to the touch. Even room temperature, it's not gonna cut as well. All right, so let's take these outside. All right, hell yeah, these have been out here for about 15 minutes. And man, it's like 5 degrees today. So these are, yeah, plenty cold. You know what I mean? Just that PTEX will sharpen so much better, or shave so much better if it's cold. All right, so let's get these all the way downstairs. And we're gonna have to use a scraper. I use a plastic scraper. You could use a metal one, you know what I mean? But that's just, I don't know, I think the one tool that you actually want to buy first is a plastic scraper. Honestly, I've actually never used a metal scraper. Just a couple days ago, I realized, oh yeah, no duh, a metal scraper is soft metal, so you can sharpen it with a file. For whatever reason, I was just like, I lost my mind on that concept. But what we use is just these Swix plastic scrapers. Now, this would be one of the first tools that you'd ever want to buy that's fancier. You know, everything else cheap, but then you wanna search out a Panzer file. And if you get it this size, it's just perfect, because you could go double duty. You could mark one side for edges, and so let me show you. So this is my good one. I actually have two. So this is the one that I use for edges. But the thing, and then so we're this is the direction it goes. So with edges, you get kind of like a case hardening, where even if I just draw this along there, hey, I get some high spots, you know, kind of where that edge got buggered up. And this is such a perfect tool to go across those areas. So even just kind of right in there, it just really cuts through aggressively.
And let's see, if I'm up like this and I'm doing the side edge, kind of same thing. So I'm just gonna drag this so you can hear it. See, I'm gonna identify that right through there, it's all kind of rusty. These edges get banged up, and it's just kind of interesting. So I'm just going to, and anytime you do a file, take a short stroke and see where you're catching. See, I can catch all the way across there, and I can even by hand figure out, you know, like, hey, if am I on the left side? Hell yeah. So then I can just kind of roll it out to the right. And we're going to use that same, but this thing actually cuts very well. So it's like the first tool for edging, and, you know, because you can just, but we're not going to even use this tool today. And we're not going to use even that tool today. And, but I will show you how this works. So here's a scraper. I've just been putting it down on this magnetic thing, and it holds it enough, and then I just go back and forth. Now you can buy these in a longer form, and I would. If you can, you know, afford things, I would just buy a longer one, but I needed a shorter one anyway, and I needed a good one and a bad one, you know what I mean? So, because I needed the good one for sharpening scrapers. This thing will stay hella sharp, but the second you go to use this for your edges, you can't sharpen your plastic scrapers as good. And so I guess it goes this way. So yeah, so we're sharpening it. And what direction do I want to be? Do I want to be pulling? I don't know. So you're gonna have to figure that out, whether when you're sharpening this, whether it's gonna be a better fit to push and sharpen. I think that actually works pretty good. So now and it's all right to like drag it back and forth on this one, just because what you're doing is you're rolling over a burr, and it's that burr that just is incredibly sharp. So I'm just going to show you the difference, because, you know, I mean, I said we were going to do this under 20 bucks, and this thing, you know, probably costs more than 20 bucks. They can get pretty pricey. I'm just going to put this one aside because I just want to show you the sharpness difference of that. But we can still do pretty good. So where are we at? I'm going to get the plastic scraper that I had originally in my hand. I don't even know where it went. Blue's Clues. Do you know where it went? Holy hell. Alright, so I got to catch on the flip side. I can't find it. Alright, hell yeah. So working with a GoPro is sweet, because especially if you're doing like taking something apart that's you know, small and technical, hell, you might not know how it got back together. You might lose a small part. So I've always gone back to the footage to be like, hey, where'd that part drop? You know what I mean? And so hell yeah. So I'm going to show you that I checked the footage, and I went over here, I sharpened the scraper, I just dropped it on the ground, so the scraper went right here. There's a chance that, I don't know, I just wouldn't have been able to find that all day. Like, holy hell. So it's just kind of cool filming yourself. So anyway, so the other technique to sharpen a scraper like this, and I don't know why I'm yelling, I don't need to yell. And it actually is way cooler if I don't yell. Because I think you can just hear me just fine. And it doesn't tear up my voice. Okay, so I got a belt sander. So we got, and belt sanders are pretty sweet because they kind of have like a cotton back, so they're pretty rigid. So hell yeah, so this is just belt sander. This is you want a pretty aggressive grit. So hell yeah, so that's a really aggressive grit right there. You want to put it on a flat surface. Obviously, if you can, flatter the better. But even if you don't have a flat surface, like check this out, you can just put it on your ski. So let's try that, just because that's potentially what you're going to have. So and we can even show you how you can get these skis just hella clamped down. You don't need anything fancy. Like that ski is just literally, well, let's get it. So that ski ain't going nowhere. And I just thought it was cool. Like you could do this backcountry skiing, just have a little, I guess I don't need this anymore. I ain't going backcountry skiing. I just thought it was fascinating that you could take this full setup like with you, you know, to cut out gouges. So even if you're skiing, you know what I mean, you just have this little thing at the ready. But there's a chance I'm not skiing no more too much either. So hell yeah.
Yeah, I got back pain and leg pain, and it just might not be worth it. It might actually be pretty healthy for me. Okay, so sweet. So what we got here, we just have a flat surface, and the same thing. I'm going to draw this back and forth, and it's going to create a burr. It's going to melt the plastic and then kind of mushroom it over. And so, you know what I mean? And yeah, I kind of want to get this fairly dull. But let's show you. Hopefully, it's fairly dull. Even like right now. And now I always keep my scrapers really sharp, but you know what I mean. So this is the bottom S side of the Swix. So let's see if we can kind of just dull this thing out. So I'm just gonna run it back and forth on that edge, and then hell yeah. So now we're gonna, you know what I mean. It's not as sharp. It feels like I can't cut through that. So you can visibly see that. So this is the edge. It's the bottom of the Swix logo side that way. Okay, so now we're gonna sharpen. But now let's show you the hella sharp. I mean, we really sharpen this, and you can just, it's just amazing how just such an accurate, sharp tool. Now Drip PTEX is way easy to scrape compared to, I guess I should show you the comparison. The big guns that I kind of removed, we use these big piece PTEX sticks, so they're just a lot bigger. But I don't know. I think the PTEX is a little bit harder consistency, just in general. Okay, so I just showed you that sharp scraper. We want to mimic that sharpness, you know, with staying in that $20 range. So all we've purchased so far is probably a scraper, this file, and we'll get to this while we sharpen the edges in a second. And then an iron. You know what I mean? We're $6. This was $9. This is going to be about $5. So there, your $20 is right there. And then you might have to bum some wax off someone, or you just use candle wax. Probably don't do that, but anyway, yeah, 25 bucks. All right, hell yeah. So here we go. Yeah, and this is cool. I can just kind of hold it on there, and then yeah, I'm just going to go back and forth. Man, I don't know why I'm taking so much precaution, but I just want to make sure that this works, because it's not as sharp, and so the better setup, you know what I mean, getting in here and getting pretty damn aggressive with it, you can get a sharp scraper. All right, hell yeah, here we go. Yep, so I'm hearing it flat, and I'm kind of feeling it burn, and that's gonna burr over. Now with this, you will remove more scraper probably than that tool, but maybe about the same. And you saw me that I went both sides, because you're not going to be 100% square. And this thing, you know, this is going to be at different angles for sure. But you are catching that edge, burning it, peeling it over. All right, moment of truth. So here's the bottom of the Swix, logo side down. And let's see if we can, it's still not as good, but it's still okay. You know what I mean? It's still not as crispy as this. This one is just ready to flake. So that's the secret sauce. So what we're doing is the $20, but like I said, this is the first tool that you want to buy. It's the most amazing tool you can get. All right, so hell yeah. So now we have this sharp scraper. We got 4 sides to work with. We're gonna tackle this very difficult, you know what I mean? I'm gonna start in the middle, and I'm working on shaving motions. I want to shave it without applying a ton of like tearing force, and I just want to like cut through it. And we just have horrible light on this side. All right, but hell, we're gonna have to redo this just because it didn't lay in as well. So as well as I thought. So let's see. Yeah, I mean, drip P-Tex is what it is. It isn't that great, especially for any like wounds that are, you know, exposed. It's just not gonna apply as well. But maybe pushing it down was not the way to go. So let's fire this up again. But yeah, that's, if you want to spend 200 bucks, the first money that you should ever spend, don't spend it on the waxer. Save your money and buy a P-Tex gun. It's literally the first most important thing. Even the edging tools, you know what I mean, all the edge guides, just do it by hand. You know what I mean? But the only thing you cannot do by hand is this work, because P-Texing by hand is just awful. It's not as good. And so, alright, hell yeah. So we're just gonna light that up, kind of do the same thing, just get it juicy. Keep a blue flame. We're gonna let this warm up till it's just ready to go. I can tip it vertical. This heats it just a little bit hotter. You might get more, just be careful tipping it vertical, because you will heat it up faster, which is good, but you might introduce carbon. But we're doing good so far. Got a nice clean burn. Yeah, definitely tipping it up allows that to heat just way faster. And now we're ready to apply. So here we go. Gonna get past the wound, and that's it. So this method was, hey, no pressure, because this stuff burns pretty hot, and we're just allowing it to you know, cool off at its leisure. So hell yeah, I'm gonna take a little break. We'll get this to room temperature. I'm gonna put it back outside, or maybe just go room temperature. Maybe even getting it too cold for this wasn't a good idea. Alright, hell yeah. But let's catch on the flip side.
Alright, hell yeah. So in the meantime, I've been, check it out. So we got a stand, because when you do edging, you need a vertical. You know what I mean? Because if we're doing this edge right here, I want to come in like this and feel flat. It's harder to do this way. You know, it's very... You know, even if you're doing without a gauge, especially, it's really easy. It's easier to tell what's level than what's perpendicular to vertical over here. So hell yeah, it's just, and then so what we did is, again, we just took two carpentry, you know, vices. I took this one, and it's just kind of wedged right on this 4x4, and so you know, you kind of show you the full setup. So there you go. So we have this one that's just kind of wedged in there, and it's just clamped right there. So just stuff that you might have around the house, and even here, you know what I mean? If you can just get any sort of clamp, and I was even thinking, you know what I mean? You might just have like these, and you could just do like something like this, and then have this like mounted, you know, just screw this to it. Just put 2 screws through there, a block of wood, and still have this thing, you know what I mean, right there. And that might be enough friction. Look at that, you know what I mean? That's all the clamping that you need. So just, yeah, it's kind of fascinating that you're just like, you know, this right here, this clamp is the most important, because well, and especially if you do have files, you'll have these guides that will drag across here, and so you need this clearance right there. So you need to bite in along the ski, you know, just clamp it right here. You can't clamp the entire thing. All right, hell yeah. So I just kind of showed you that. So we'll get back to that in a second, but now we got to shave that P-Tex. All right, hell yeah, back at it, and we're gonna shave down this P-Tex. So booyah. And so hopefully our scraper's pretty sharp. We're still gonna try try to find the sharpest edge. I would go to all four just to see, oh hell yeah. So just like right in there feels really good. And we're just gonna take just nice light passes. I'm gonna go from this side just so you can kind of see, you know what I mean? See, we're shaving off, you know, it's not, but this stuff is really easy to shave. That's the cool thing about P-Tex. And you know, we're big in front of it, but it doesn't matter. I can just cut right down and get down to that base. And even this, that's not going to, I can just come right through there and just chip that off. It's not going to affect shaving across the actual affected edge. So hell yeah. There is a tendency for this stuff to pop out way easier than gunned in P-Tex, but I think we did a good job. You know what I mean? We laid it, and then we didn't do anything with it, because stick P-Tex gets hella hot, and so just the allowing that to cool, that is I don't know. I think it's, yeah, I don't know. If it's a big weld, I would just do smaller passes and then let them cool. You really can't apply a ton. You can't like get that thing gooey, apply it in there, and then apply pressure. I've kind of tried a few techniques, but all right, so hell yeah. So that's good to go. And even right there, well, and this kind of got dinged up. I can feel that it's a little bit low in there. We're not going to take, you know, do anything with that. All right, so let's use these sharp, you know, use this scraper to show you, you know, just how sharp you can get it. And for this first pass, I don't have to get too crazy, you know, to get all the way flush or even past flush, because we are gonna wax and scrape anyway. And sometimes, especially if you're doing a home job, and doing your own edges, you probably want to wax, scrape, brush, and then repeat, because you're gonna get metal to come out when you do edging. You're gonna get metal kind of impregnated kind of into the base of the ski. It's just the nature of the beast. And so waxing once, scraping, brushing, kind of just gets all that stuff out of there. All right, let's see. Yeah, I'm satisfied with this scraper, you know what I mean? It's okay. But you can probably just tell the difference with this one. Yeah, it's just butter, you know what I mean? I can just really feel that that cutting edge. You know, you can feel it and hear it compared to this. So let's try to get another round going on this thing. So we're gonna try to and always be experimenting. So we just did the bottom, you know what I mean, the upside down part of the Swix, and we're gonna see if any of that kind of lights us up. It's all right. It's probably better than this side, so yeah, it's okay. But anyway, the name of the game for ski tuning is if you can get a sharp plastic scraper, man, you're invincible. So here's kind of a bigger area. Yeah, and it's just not as good with this side. So is there any other ways to sharpen this scraper for the cheap? I don't know. We can I don't know, let's try a finer grit just to see. I don't think a finer grit, maybe, I don't know. I mean, what you're trying to do is melt that and peel it over. So I definitely felt more heat and on that. The other thing you can do is actually just kind of come in here, use your finger to feel that burr. So that actually feels pretty good. I mean, both sides are burred, but hell yeah, it's just not as good as that. Okay, so we're gonna come in here. You know what I mean? I just really can't feel that cutting edge. So, it's probably best if I show you, you know what I mean, the first tool that you should buy if you're gonna do the, you know, $50 Ski Tune special. You know, this is the first tool you should buy for about, hopefully it's not more than 25 bucks, but I bet you this thing's 40 bucks. It's very precise, it's very sharp. It's a Panzer file. It not only cuts, but also that heat is going to leave just a real crisp and burred edge. But maybe just sharp. Yeah, just kind of a... Okay, hell yeah. So now we're going to show you probably the difference. So let's get in here. Hopefully you can see. Yeah, so just... You know what I mean? I definitely can scrape with less pressure. You know what I mean? You can feel that cutting. So hell yeah. So I'm going to say, for sure, get that tool. It is one to have in your playbook. Okay, so we're basically there. I'm just going to make sure I didn't miss any spots. So I'm just going to kind of just go over this. Okay, hell yeah. I think we're good. So now we're on to edging. And the first edge that I'm going to do is the base edge. And now we get to experiment with our new file. So this is Lowe's, this is the Cobalt file. And yeah, we'll see. I don't know what to expect. So how should I open this? I have no idea. There we go. Whew. All right, sweet. Okay, hell yeah. So let me get this off. And all right, so I'm actually going to try to get a headlamp on top of my head, and then just get this GoPro down. I need to make a mount, so maybe even like right now I'll try for that. Be like, hey, we need to mount a light, just because when it comes to ski tuning, I kind of want you to see this, and I don't think you can see much if I don't have a light on my head. Catch on the flip side. All right, hell yeah. So we got this headlamp on top of my head. And you have to put it down real low. That's why I actually want to get like a mount for this GoPro. I'm going to show you this footage because, you know, here's what it is. You have to experiment. So I'm going to turn this light on. Just kind of at its lowest setting. And I'm going to get where I can see. Okay, hell yeah. Because we're gonna be like, I'm going to be right in here. This is kind of my normal view. And I want you to see right there. So, you know. Is that where you see? I think so. I think we're pretty close. I feel like you are pretty much vertical. So I think we're good to go right there. I'm going to make another small video. Whoops. Alright, I think I'm recording. But you also need a mirror because I have no idea if I'm even recording. But I'm going to be going from here to there. So hopefully you can kind of see that whole thing. And then I'm just going to see what kind of angle that I'm at. Okay, hell yeah. And then we're just going to watch this footage to see if that was actually good. Alright, so now we're going to do the same thing without the light. I mean, there's not a lot of light in here, but honestly, this headlamp might not be the way to go. I mean, if I just get close enough, you know, maybe you can kind of see, you know, the rust, and we'll be able to see the differences. And I want to get down here anyway, kind of pause, just so you can see those. And so now I'm just going to turn off the GoPro again and then watch that footage to see if that's good footage. Alright, hell yeah. So that was hella worthwhile. And I really encourage people to do these long format videos where you're just like, for sure, you know, you just click on, click off. And so now we're going to do it. So what we're going to do is this side edge. And let's see if I can get just a little more room out here. But I guess, yeah, I can get this ski as far this way as I really need it. Alright, so booyah. And I think it's best, I don't know, it's probably, I don't know. I'm going to do short passes anyway. So I guess it doesn't matter if I start this way and then come back. But you can even, you know, the idea with skis is that your ski should be ground flat. And if it's brand new, hell yeah. Like your edges should be flat on both sides. So if I was just to do this, I should hear steel on both sides, just a little bit. I shouldn't have to put any edge up here. But now you see that, you know, or if you get a brand new ski like that, and they don't even come like that anyway, you know, a machine puts this bevel in, and typically they put in like probably way too much. Because even just like right here, you can hear it. Because if I'm actually trying to engage that steel, I'm not doing it. Maybe this file just sucks. Oh, hell yeah. So this file has a plastic That's so funny. That's actually really funny to me. There's a plastic coating. I was just like, yeah, I can't even feel the file engage. Okay, whew, this thing's oily. So let me grab a rag, because it's going to get my hand all oily. Alright, hell yeah. And I have to realize that the GoPro is just really slanted down and is ready to go for when we do this this edging, starting with the base edge. Alright, damn it. That crap's on there. So let's see if I can tackle it from this side. Oh man. This is bumming me out. Okay. Just trying to get underneath there. Holy hell. You know what I mean? I don't even care about the side, so I'm just going to cut down the side. Never use this side of the file. Sorry about this. Alright, come on. Holy Toledo. Alright, well, where's that, yeah, we just need something in there. I feel like I'm going to totally damage myself, so let's get this going. Alright, let's try to get this off, man. Yeah, that is just shrink wrapped on there. Alright, this sucks, man. I feel like I don't know how to get that off. There we go. Alright, sweet. Alright, booyah. Alright. I thought keeping my hands oily was the main concern. Just getting that off of there. Alright, I'm just kind of getting the handle just so I don't get my gloves all. Okay, sweet. Alright, so now we're ready to go. Let's do that same experiment. So like I should be able to hear steel on both sides if this was a new ski. So now I'm going to lay it flat and I'm going to angle it. So there's the angle right there. So so you should probably have less than that. I mean, you should, I'm kind of curious, you know what I mean? If, let's do the math, because this is really this might be the most fascinating part of the whole video. I'm going to get a ruler in millimeters. We're going to get a calculator, and we're going to measure this height, you know, where it engages, and then we'll measure this length. So with perpendicular, this angle is the inverse tangent, you know, the tangent of this angle is opposite over adjacent. So the inverse tangent in the calculator will give me this angle, you know what I mean? Because we're shooting for 1 degree, and it's just fascinating. We'll be able to totally tell what our ski is the entire way down, so let's do that. Alright, hell yeah. I don't know if I have a wide view on this right now, but obviously you couldn't see that. So when I was right here doing this, you couldn't see it. So it's just good for me to go to the GoPro. It's just like, and then just kind of visualize kind of where center is. So like right here, it's like I think that you're seeing out here. But if I come down like right here, hell yeah, maybe I want to angle it like right there. So like right now, I think you're seeing the center right here, so maybe you could see there and there. But anyway, so let's get this. So I'm down here. So booyah. So right there is where, so you do not hear it engaging on this side. And then I roll until I hear some metal. And then even just do that, like, see where it scrapes first. You know what I mean? Just scrape off just a little bit. And it's just like, oh, okay. So I'm actually scraping the edge. And so, so there you go. And the Panzer files are supposed to be able to, like, maybe remove some of this ski material. But, man, let's try just a little bit. Just to see, you know what I mean? Like, would this even work? So I'm going to go this way with it. And let's say this is base high. You know, could I remove any of that base material up against that edge? I would say not really. So, Yeah, I would just say not. It's really difficult to actually. This is where you need water. Like the machines that grind bases are like belt sander material, and then with water cooled, and so you are cutting. You're cutting away. The same cutting effect that can cut steel is actually cutting through the steel as well. And so you need basically about the same cutting power, because your edges will be grinding across that belt, so you can't be dulling it while you're using it. But hell yeah, so let's get in here and do this experiment. So where are you seeing? I think you're seeing, yeah, I think you're pretty good for seeing this. So I'm gonna come in like this. So hell yeah, so we're actually, I need to kind of sit down for this. This is kind of just the interesting thing, and this is stuff that as you're trying to get good at ski tuning, this is kind of the stuff that you want to be paying attention to. Almost need to come around here. Well, I don't know. So I'm gonna, so I think like right about there, I mean, we're gonna be, I don't know, 4 to 5 millimeters, and we have 106. So let's go inverse tangent of 4 divided by 106, inverse tangent of 5 divided by 100. So we're like 2 to 2.7. Now let's see if that is 100% accurate. So we're gonna come in here. I'm gonna say just right there. And this is probably the best place on a ski that's not typically base high. Like this is where the grind of a ski is going to be the flattest. Yeah, and so I can, but yeah, it's just really difficult. This is where you need a true bar to actually, like, you know, feel where that flatness is. And this ruler is just totally sucky because the millimeters is on the wrong side. I could be down to 3 millimeters, so we'll just visualize that. What do you think? Is that where it engages? I think it engages typically right about there. So yeah, maybe 3. You know what I mean? So we got the inverse tangent of 3, 106. Yeah, 1.6. But still, I mean, so that gives you some sort of clue that if you're a race ski and you for sure want that 1 degree bevel, I mean, you better be noticeably almost flat, but then noticeably be able to angle this up on that surface. Because that's basically what we're doing, is we're flattening, we're making that surface flat to this angle. And this just gives me a good representation that what's 1 degree. So we could do the opposite. If I take the tangent of 1 degree, tangent of 1, it's going to pop me out that ratio. So this is going to be the ratio, and now I'm going to multiply by 106. So I need to be basically 2 millimeters for this ski. So for this width of 100 and whatever, I need to only have 2 millimeters of clearance, which is just hardly anything. And so, but those are things that I've actually never done this as a ski tuner, is to actually take out a calculator and measure that, because around your, so here you do the same thing. We're 71 under waist, 72. So I'm going to take, so I'm going to say, what do we need? So we're going to do tangent of 1 degree is that ratio. So I need X millimeters divided by 72. So I'm going to take this times 72 and 1.25 millimeters. So then go to your ruler, and it's just like, holy Toledo, 1.25 millimeters. But at least look at it, visualize that. You're like, okay, so that's the gap that I should have underfoot. So I'm going to come down here and then just roll my edge. You know what I mean? It should be no more than 1.25 millimeters on that side. But that's where, you know what I mean? Yeah, it's difficult because your base might be high, and then what? You know what I mean? Like, you don't want to start rounding that over. But it is good to know, have an idea of what what is the baseline? So even just right there, we kind of sharpen that little stretch, and we're looking real crispy. And coming up to there, we kind of sharpen that. And you can see even just doing that. Now the base edge is what you want to spend the least amount of time on. But yeah, yeah, and this is where you want to be the most visual, because you do not want to over bevel that base edge. That's where machines, man, if they're just not set up right, they're just gonna just really destroy that, just over bevel that base. And I'm still like watching to see what I'm doing, and if I see my file that's hitting center, it's like, oh, I love that. Especially even on the base just a little bit. And but this is where you probably want also in your wheelhouse for the $20 tune. Got to get this calculator out of here. Is a wire brush. So I have probably a decent one. This is just brass, but man, the wax and the base material are gonna gunk this up. But I'm really impressed with this file. I was just like, maybe you need just like the fanciest of the fancy files, and these are like, I got a whole lot of ski tool stuff. This is Sun Valley Ski Tools, and they just make real high quality files. But you know what I mean, this Cobalt one from Lowe's. So I'm just visually going off visuals. I'm trying to edge right in between the edge and the plastic base, just to try to get that flat, and then slightly work to the outside or go this direction. But like I said, it's ever so slight, and hopefully you can kind of see this footage, and we got pretty decent angles. And if less is more, you know what I mean? Like this shouldn't take too long. And but it can take as long as you want, because you're also wanting to build skill. You know, of holding that edge. But I would rather do this because that edge is typically already set by a machine. So like where it's flat, that is already going to be set. Now the base could bubble up, you know, just get base high, just because the ski is compressed, flattened, and then it might misshape. You know what I mean? There's a lot of forces that are trying to misshape that. Okay, sweet. I'm trying to see where you can see, just so this footage isn't awful. Yeah, I think if my head is down. Okay, so now we're gonna get, it's always good to pay attention of what direction. So if tips are that way, we're done with this ski after doing this one. All right, so let's see how fast we can do this. So let's see where you can see. And use that rust, you know, to your benefit and knowledge. But even just a light pass over that rusty surface, kind of up against that edge, that'll smooth. Because like the other aspect is you're smoothing this edge, and that's the other thing that you can do is like, you know, you can take your finger and just like, oh, that's nice and smooth now. Like that'll wax over, or just, you know, it's just smooth to the touch. Where if we come down here, it's like, well, we're not doing too bad, but there can be rough, yeah, just where it peels over. So like the edges can even get case hardened from ice and stuff, and you know, it's just a 90-degree edge. You get enough pressure, you know, enough load in there, jumping off stuff and taking sharp corners, you know, even just ice, that can take that edge, and then well, it can either dull it, or more than likely it's going to peel it to one side where that force is. So and you can kind of feel that in there. And probably more of this is just hitting rocks. So what I said about ice, I don't know, I bet you ice could move that edge around. All right, hell yeah. So we're gonna move this. But yeah, that's the coolest thing about this video is you don't need the I was about to spend about $250 just on a ski clamp, just go, you know, I finally need one. It's just like, no, you don't. And I kind of like to work at different elevations, so this gives me a lot of freedom. But yeah, again, the base edge is just not one that you want to over sharpen. Let's see, what can you see? Yeah, I'm always just grabbing my GoPro just to see if, like, hey, you got the right angles. All right, sweet. And that's it, you know what I mean? So the base edge, again, is just one that you want to spend the least amount of time on. And for sure, do not dig in and do not over bevel it. You're just cleaning it up. But if it's already over beveled, it is nice to actually meet that bevel and at least kind of clean it up. I mean, if you have a 3-degree bevel that's just rounded over, well, it's better if that's 3 degrees but kind of flushed out, especially if it's rounded over and you're hitting that high spots. You know, you still have a 3-degree edge. This is where the edge is gonna hit anyway. You know what I mean? So you might as well flatten it and give this some life, because you do get a lot of rough surfaces. If you took like a, you know, a video micro, you know what I mean, whatever they call them, and zoomed in on that, you'd be able to see those rough edges just right on that. All right, so hell yeah, tips this way. We got 2 of these. And see, even this, it's like getting real shiny at the tip, but I can still put some pressure in, so I can see right away that the tip, when I angle it just a little bit, the edge is kind of shaving away first. So I'm trying to reduce that and just kind of applying more pressure downward. But yeah, this ski is pretty good. So kind of light pressure, a little, kind of the highest edge, but then, and then really just pressuring down into there. Yeah, this ski is actually edge high on this side. So like right here is that classic where, hey, I go down the ski and I can hear both edges. So see that? So this is where I can just do this, and that makes my job real easy. Just to start cleaning up both sides, but then I do want to come in here and put that, I don't want to over bevel it, but I do want to kind of begin putting that 1.5, you know, millimeter to 2 millimeters on that. So hell yeah, this is pretty cool, because this kind of shows you that, hell yeah, I put this file down the middle and I hear edges. So that's just a telltale sign that I'm just like, okay, sweet. That I can, that I will have to set this bevel just a little bit. But again, less is more. If it's flat, just kind of hit it, apply a slight pressure, don't over bevel it, and then just get on with life. All right, hell yeah. I'm gonna come all the way up here. Okay, so this is edge high, this is base high. So right here, I gotta be more cautious. Just kind of going right up to the edge. And yeah, this is way over beveled over here. But I still wanna capture that edge and give it just a little smoothing. Now, not much, because there's not, I'm satisfied with this. There's even just doing a very light pass, just like an over beveled light pass, just to get rid of that scarring. But this edge is smooth. It doesn't have, it's over beveled, but it doesn't have rust. So I'm done with that. Because on that one, I didn't want to, you know, really dive into it for fear of really over beveling that edge. Okay, hell yeah, same thing here. So, so we're base high. I'm gonna go try to find those edges to see how much, and even just do a light pass ain't gonna kill anything.
You know what I mean? Just to see like, wait, where is that? You're like, holy hell. So this is this is like 3 to 5 degrees of, so this ski, so this is kind of cool where like, if you were gonna try to maximize the life of a ski, and you wanted to learn about how the tuning process worked, and you owned everything in the shop, it would be, and that's the one thing I'm gonna try to experiment of like, especially this ski. I don't own it though, it's my brother's. It would be perfect candidate because we do have areas that are edge high and areas that are base high. So how do we get a water sandpaper, you know, and then start, you know, like sanding this down where the plastic is being removed. We have enough liquid to like as a cutting fluid, and I think you could be able to do that by hand, but it's really difficult to cut ski. This stuff is so hairy, like and it's so hard that you can't cut through it. Like P-Tex is pretty soft, you can shave through it. This stuff is very difficult to shave through, and so yeah, it's just the nature of the beast. Anyway, it would be fascinating to see if we would be able to do that by hand. So I'm trying to just apply a lot of downward pressure, and then meet that edge as best as possible without, like right there, it felt like it kind of caught and kind of started grinding just a little bit more than I wanted to. But hell yeah, even just right there, you can just visibly see that the edge is just 5 degrees. Sad day for this ski. Okay. All right, how we doing here? No, we're still base high, so we can kind of come through here like normal. All right, right here is kind of rusty and gritty, so I just want to kind of focus on that and just kind of clean it up. More trying to make it a smooth surface than worried about over beveling. And even underfoot, hell yeah, when you're underfoot is just, I mean, this side is bizarre, because this side is totally flush, this side is over beveled, and now this is a telly ski. It'd be fascinating to see. Okay, so if this is the right ski, I don't know, your inside edge. So this is the inside edge. Yeah, the inside edge on this telly ski is just real haggard. So you could get a lot of life out of these skis by switching bindings, and these bindings just pop right off and can be easily mounted from one ski to the other. So so that's the other thing, just right away you can totally see that this edge is just fresh and lively. This thing is haggard on this side. It's way low. It's angled about 5 degrees or more. It's hella base high right there. It's going to be a very slippery edge for this rider. Okay, hell yeah. But yeah, that's the interesting thing about ski tuning, is like you have a lot of aspects of like, you have to be willing to take a closer look at things and do just a little bit and see if that did anything. You know what I mean? You can't just go by feel until you're actually spent the time of looking to see, hey, am I doing something? Yes, I did something. You know what I mean? And then what did I do? And then quantify that. And then it's really good to take that time to reassess, because after a while you just like develop these habits and you're just like, I'm just going to do this and go for it. And then you might, okay, so that was that, and we're done edging the base. But yeah, you might get into a habit that you think it's doing one thing when actually by measurement it's taking too much, taking too little. Sweet. So now what we're going to do is get these blocks out of the way and get our cool little setup. And this still is kind of under 20 bucks. Just finding a way to get this thing. And this is actually really nice, because you kind of want, well, I don't know, I might want to be out here.
The other aspect of a home table, be nice if you have a wider table, because if these are clamped right at the ends, oh man, your ski is just real stable. So that's the only bummer. I'm going to try to get this clamped as high as possible. I don't know if that's actually possible on this one. No, this one's perfect. Yeah, hell yeah. Get that real clamped. And let's see, can I access this? Hell yeah. All right, so man, this is super cool. Yeah, and it's just fascinating that you can do this for so cheap. And kind of go through the motions. Now, you know, it's a learning process, but it's probably one of the more difficult learning processes, because if you're not able to come up to something and look at it and stare at microscopic little sections and, you know, and actually see, feel, and quantify, you know, like this edge. Because even like right now, just doing the base, like, oh hell yeah, we're money. Now there's a lot of haggardness around here, so we can clean that up. And then also, this is the thing that I didn't forget to do, is every step of the way, you know, see what you've done. And then when you start to do a process, do a little bit, see what it did, and then you're able to mimic that. Because the other aspect of especially hand tuning is you can spend way too long like on this much of the ski and then realize that you got to do that 4 times and then 4 times 4. You know, so if it took you 15 minutes to do this, you got 6 times that and you're 4 hours in. Okay, so hell yeah. So now we're hopefully you can still see stuff. You know, these file guides are this is still not the first tool you should, well, this is up there, because you could still get away with not getting one of these and spend your money on this. But I mean, if you want to feel like you're a step up on every ski tuner, even the pros, like sharpening your scraper with this is the most gold part of my career as a ski tuner. And I can say that because I've spent 10 years, but man, back pain and mental health, and I would love to do it every day. Actually, yeah, mental health, because you got to work with other people, and I don't do that very well. And it's like, it's not you, it's me, you know what I mean? I actually realized, I thought it was everyone else, you know what I mean, that was a pain in the butt to work with. It's like, hell no. But, you know, I kind of live in a world where I want everything to be Care Bears, and it's not. I want everything to be nice, and it's not, you know what I mean? So, yep, it's a sink or swim world out there. And so, yep, and at the end of the day, you know, it's like I haven't developed the skills to overcome the shortcomings. If you have shortcomings, it can be a downward spiral. It's even harder to overcome those. And, yeah, it's hard to change industries that are already kind of rough and tumble. And that's our only industries here in my small community. We don't have a lot of professional, because hell yeah, it is at the end of the day, it's a very professional task. And if you are able to see what you're doing and then have the skills and hand coordination to do what you're doing, then yeah, it can be a very cool task. Okay, hell yeah. So this would be probably your best tool, because you just drag it across here. This slides back and forth. And then, you know, if you just do like this, then you're just good to go. And the money is you just need a couple clamps, probably smaller ones than this. But there you go. You clamp it in 2 different locations. And you can use these little ones. You know, these little clamps are plenty tensioned. And man, this is just a monster where... But even right here, so we have rust and we have case hardening, and I'm going the wrong direction with the file. So sorry about that. I was just like, and I'm not doing anything. But yeah, let's compare to see if you want the Panzer file. I don't think you need it, but it is probably nice to at least have 2 of these. If the Panzer file is going to be like $60, but still, if you get one of these, you can designate one surface for steel and one surface for your scraper. Just make sure you don't switch that up. Okay, so hell yeah. So, and I'm just going to grind across this lightly. Okay, so I hear nothing's crazy. if you have like, if it feels like you're going over rocks, it's where that edge just got totally gnarled, and that is, it can become a harder material. It's like tempering steel. And so that's kind of that case hardening. And I just hate terms where you're just like, oh yeah, it's case hardened. But because I swear, I come from a world where it's just like, unless I see it, feel it, and understand it, I don't believe you. And I don't know if that's just, I think that happens a lot with physics. It's just like, I don't believe you that it got harder or something. Okay, I'm gonna get that Panzer file. So now we're gonna do the same thing, get it going in the right direction. Holy Toledo. And then we're gonna drag this over. But this is such a good tool for your first pass, because I can just see how it sounded way less, it's way smoother, and you're actually, yeah, you're hella removing, you know, quite a bit of material. Like I said, we were not supposed to do this, but just to show you, like 2 passes on that, even light, is, it just gets you going so much better. Hell yeah. So we got this engaged, and now we'll drag this. You know what I mean? And even just a light pass. I'm not supposed to use that tool on this, but no, now we're ready. So I'm gonna use this tool for this edge, because just cause. Long passes are sweet, but I would apply appropriate pressure in and down, making sure that angle is kept at that 90. Oh, bummer. My clamp situation got bummed out. And then seriously, like every pass, see what you're doing. Like I can come in here more, that's plenty sharp. Like, and then you can actually see if it actually got to the edge. You know what I mean? So you can do this where you don't have to take the life of the ski away. But hell yeah. So like right in here, I definitely needed more passes. I'm gonna take individual passes. So I'm gonna show you the technique of just using short passes, because you can actually see what you're doing, and you can actually see that edge being removed. You can see the rust going away, and you can see it's all the way up against the edge. And I'm just so, I'm wildly entertained that this Cobalt, oh damn it, can you see anything? Just a little more angle. That this Cobalt file is just killing it. So yeah, lows, and you're just good to go. All right, so now we got our work cut out for us, because we want to mimic that on all 4 skis. The last tool that you could buy is a gummy stone, but I would just buy a stone. You could probably get this at the dollar store. You know what I mean? The dollar store has stuff, like a dollar store has sharpening blocks. Now it might be a huge ass chunk, but then just go break it, just so you have something, because all you're doing for detuning is taking this edge. And this is another place where it's just like, hey, use your fingers to feel. Use your nails to be like, okay, so I'm able to shave so that edge is sharp as hell, right? And it's you know, it's blunt as a 90-degree angle, but it's flat, and so it's, you know, sharp, right? It's not rounded over. So this thing, hell yeah. So you can so if I wanted to round this edge, I could do this, but technically I might be putting a, you know, I'm taking that and making it a 90, but maybe I get burrs over here. So, you know, kind of having a, and we're going to totally dull from here to here. I would say that's pretty dull. And then you could do, you know, 3 different sides to round that over. Now that this is interesting. Maybe this isn't the tool you want to use because it is kind of rough as hell. But now I'm going to go right up to the contact point, and now I'm just going to lighten the load and just do a couple passes. But yeah, maybe that's too aggressive. So let's go down here and use that same strategy. Just kind of, but you can use this tool to also kind of clean up the rust on that, because if that engages the snow, and this is interesting. This is something where it's good to have some emery cloth So, yeah, I don't know, some sandpaper, some metal sandpaper that is smooth and flexible because it lasts longer. And we're going to come in here because this is going to drag through the snow and it's rusty and grippy. And this part of the edge doesn't need to be sharp. It just needs, and so you could also just detune with this, and it's probably a better thing to detune with because I'm actually removing grit and rust. And so, yeah, I'm going to change my game. You know what I mean? So to have just a little bit of emery cloth is probably, and this stuff's pretty sweet because you can just kind of rip it off in chunks. So part of the $20 tune is to have some emery cloth. You could use this, but hell yeah. So let's do that same thing with some emery cloth. And I just switched my game because, you know, I want to use cheap things that everyone could have. Well, I don't know. I think I do still want to detune with that, but if I came in with some rust, so that's the detuning process. So those two tools are critical, I would say. Okay, hell yeah. So now we're going to be switching sides, and now we're going to do everything by hand with stuff that you could afford at 20 bucks, 20, 25 bucks. Oh, we got to get that. All right, let's get this. And it'd probably be good to even, I'm gonna get this right underneath there, just to make sure. Okay, hell yeah. Just to get this height. Yeah, I think that's a good idea, is to have some sort of little wedges. I mean, anything would work. Pair of pliers, there you go, just to get the right elevation. And now we got plenty of room to work with. Okay, hell yeah. So, I don't think these, I bet you come across these nah, these are hell expensive. I think they're going to be $100. Definitely more than 50, definitely more than 60, 75 to 100. I bet you less than 100, hopefully less than 100. But here was your base beveler, and this just holds that angle, you know what I mean? So there you go, is that if, let's get in kind of where you can see. So if these two, how does this work? Yeah, so this surface and this surface rest on there, and we're going to say this surface is parallel. Yeah, so there you go. So the difference between the thickness there, which is about 1 millimeter, let's say, and the thickness here, which maybe is 3 millimeters. So there you go. You got 2 millimeters over that distance. So we just did the math on that. I've never actually even looked at this tool to be like, hell yeah. So, I mean, from center to center is going to be, and so let's do this just to make sure this tool makes sense, is going to be, this might be the best part of this video. So we got 74. I would say it's about 74. 74 millimeters, and the thickness on here in millimeters is going to be 3 millimeters, and the thickness on this is going to be 1 millimeter. Sweet. So we have 2 millimeters over 70, what do we say, 72? So that's those are our tangent. Those are our vertical, and our rise is 2 millimeters, our run is 72. So 2 divided by 72, inverse tangent of that. And this is a 1.6 degree. And so I'll have to re-look at this because this is supposed to be a 1 degree file. But I don't know if I measured wrong. Probably. I'm probably supposed to measure this direction. So yeah. So from there to there is 60. Like, what would 1 degree be? That's the other. It's good to use your calculation skills. So let's go tangent of 1 degree. And we're supposed to have this ratio. And so we know we have a 2 degree height, though. So we're going to divide by 2. Is that right? No, multiply. Is it divide by 2 and then the inverse of that? 100. Ah, damn it. What is 60? Oh, hell. So if we have 2 divided by 65 and we take the inverse tangent of that, that's going to be about 1.7. So if we have 2 divided by 45, inverse tangent of that, inverse tangent 2 divided by 45. No, we're going the wrong direction. 2 divided by 80. 2 millimeters divided by 150. No, so we actually have to be, so what would this? We would have to take the tangent of 1, and then divide by, tangent of 1, and then to get this, we would have to divide by 2 and take the inverse of that. Yeah, so we need 114. Yeah, we were right. But that means that, yeah, I don't think these tools are actually, my bad. So the thickness of that isn't where this is applied. So the millimeters here is these pads. These pads are about 4 millimeters. But it's really hard to, it's not exactly 4, it's a little bit less. So my bad. So we have 3 millimeters. So we're gonna say tangent of 1 divided by 3, invert that. And so, oh, that makes it even worse. Holy hell. So I'm thinking this tool, I'm gonna analyze this in a physics video, because I don't think this tool, yeah, I'll have to analyze it. But anyway, it's supposed to be. Alright, hell yeah, threw in a new battery, and we gotta see how much time left we have. Yeah, we got 42 minutes left, so let's finish this ski, make a video. Okay, hell yeah, so we're still on the hand tuning, and we have our Cobalt file from Lowe's. I think we can see everything. So if I'm like right here, what can you see? I think you're pretty good. So, and I think, yeah, you want to be, because right here, I think you see this direction. So if I'm, yeah, I just have to make sure that I angle my head. So I think, yeah, it's just so difficult to get into having the GoPro on top of your head and then using it to stare at things. But even just right away, we're going to tackle all this grit with this emery paper. You know what I mean? We're going to try to smooth out all the way to the contact, just so then we're done with that process. And that's going to drag through the snow, so you actually might feel that. You know what I mean? This might be a huge improvement to your skiing. Just having it nice, smooth, you know what I mean? It's kind of fins of a boat or something. I don't know what I'm saying, but I think you get it. Hell yeah. It for sure will be an improvement. Okay, sweet. So now we're ready to go. Hopefully you can see. I'm going to do the technique where I just do little bits at a time, because that's the first. When you're doing hand filing, am I going the right direction? Yep. So I just did a little bit, and I feel like it's hitting on both sides equally. So right there, hell yeah. And just know that you don't want to be on this side. You want a 90-degree angle or sharper. You know what I mean? The pros will try to chisel out this, so you have like, I mean, just imagine like if you have this flat and then you come down 10 degrees, it's like, hell, you got a knife blade out there. But the only way to get this sharper is to bring down this angle. And because you put an angle of base bevel of 1 degree this way, now your angle is obtuse. Like, you just imagine if this is 5-degree base and this is totally flat, like, you have a broad angle. You know what I mean? So typically you're going to bring this 1 degree, but that's unrealistic sometimes anyway. Especially if you just get your ski thrown through the regular tuning cycle, there's a chance that it could for sure get just, your base edge is just getting killed every time you go through a edge grinder. You know what I mean? If it's not tuned properly, and none of them are. That's like the worst tool. That's like the worst adjusted on the whole machine. But it is cool because if you do get your edge grinder just perfectly adjusted, it not only is cutting into the ski, it can actually cut through also some of the base. So that is kind of a cool thing where, I mean, if your base is hella high, it'll at least kind of cut through that base, and that does improve. It's an improvement. I mean, there have been, like, children's and learn to ride snowboards are totally rounded like this, and even snowboards today, because you have freedom of movement until you apply that edge. But that's a lot of freedom of movement if that's a rounded surface. The second that actually is kind of at least slanted, well, then you actually have something engaged, and then your edge will engage just a lot better. So I mean, it's an imperfect world. It's almost impossible to grind your ski flat every time. And then for some skis, just the way that they're put together in the clamping, if they're cupped at the tip and tail, you might not be able to get around that. I ground skis. I got to experiment because as a young ski tuner, I was just like, well, I mean, you want to get rid of that cupped? Let's try. And then you just realize that you just remove the life of the ski, and if you get any core shots in there, it's just paper thin. So it has to be within reason. But that was kind of an interesting learning process where someone's just like, well, hell yeah, let's do it, because I don't want that cupping. It's just like, okay. And so I got to learn from that perspective. Okay, so hell yeah. So we're going to be, this way if we can. But we're just trying to meet flush. So again, I'm going to take a small little chunk and just kind of do a couple passes, kind of aggressively. There you go. So then I kind of caught on both sides, and then, one was on one was on the other, and then I was able to kind of find that flat. And for this, it's hella cool because, yeah, you can air on this left side. So I'm going to apply definitely a juicy amount of pressure, and then kind of hold that angle. Hell yeah. But hell yeah, I mean, the guide is the visual process of actually looking to see what you're doing. And with your skis hella rusty, hell yeah. Like, you at least have that to go on. And the other thing that you could do, this is so fascinating. Let's actually just take a blue marker. So I just have these markers. So we're going to go over that same section, and we're going to see... I mean, yeah, we could just load this up just to show you. All right, I'm going to let that dry because I think this actually will be a pretty good representation. So, again, hopefully you can kind of see right there it's all rusty. I'm going to actually apply some pretty damn good pressure, you know what I mean, because that kind of final, it's hitting on both sides. I'm going to air on the left side, and then it went flush. And short's good. Okay, hell yeah. So this should be good to go. So same thing. I'm going to come right here. I'm going to dig in. But I've already done this. But see, I went too much on that right side. So I'm going to come back to the left. And then just finish the job. So I'm airing on the left side and then finishing on the right. So, and maybe even though this is rusty and I'm using that as a gauge, it might be, I don't know, this might be a pretty good tool to use. So I'm going to come in. This is still rusty. So I'm going to use that skill to be like, I'm going to do this and then come into this painted surface. And I do like short and then kind of finish with long because, I mean, you'll notice like, well, there you go. Kind of longer strokes to get there. There you go. Yeah, get the hang of it. On that left side, trim all the way out. And then, yeah, the edge is buggered up underfoot. This is that inside edge we were talking about. You know what I mean? So I could spend just a little bit more time kind of... man, bindings are a little bit tricky. All right, yeah, let's use this. This was a pretty sweet little thing to use. Not much room in here. All right, do you think I did good? Yeah, I'm satisfied. Yeah, there's not a lot of room with this file. And it's, yeah, so right there, I felt like I don't know if I was accurate. So I'm going to do those same motions on this painted surface just to see if I was doing the right thing. And then how much it takes to actually dive into there. And so there you go. I'm going to go back over that. Yeah, and it's just like, it was just one of those things. I thought I was doing something, but I'm not. I'm not doing anything. Now I'm doing something, and now I can finish the job. But now that I have that kind of worked out, I'm going to go back to bigger strokes. Man, hopefully you can see this footage. So, yeah, I think you can. Whoa, 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 whoa. Ah, bummer, man. This waxer might die. I've not treated it well. Okay. So, and there's hardly any light back here, but let's try to get some light over the shoulder. So, so now I can go back to the big strokes, the strokes that I'm used to, kind of at this higher angle. All right, I'm just gonna try to get the feel for this. Yeah, I'm glad I'm using that marker. It's like I'm using techniques that I've never done before, because you usually just have the guides, and the guides you don't need to, you know, keep adjusting, because you'll just hold that angle with pressure. But yeah, I think that's the trick, is to find where you want to be. You're probably riding on a surface, but being able to apply pressure but still maintain that angle. So that's kind of what I'm learning from this, is that you need a hell of a lot of cutting pressure, but you need to be confident that you're still maintaining that angle. Because I think I was a little bit rounded in here. So I'm going to show you with the tool that, because I've not done this freehand at all. Just because why would you when you have the tools? I'm just showing you that you can, and it's actually probably a good skill to do if you have skis that, I don't know. I mean, even if you cared about them, you're not, well, I can visually see that is rounded. So I'm just going to come in here and just kind of do just to kind of see where we're at on this. Yeah, so it's taking more on this side. So what does that indicate? Oh, so that indicates that we were like this, you know what I mean? If this, because this is trying to put a 2-degree edge, and nah. Well, let's see. If this thing is coming in at a 2-degree edge. If we're up against a square edge, what's going to happen is it's going to remove this left side. Now, if I'm up like this and my edge is already more than 92 degrees, and then I do this, it's going to come and remove the right side. So I officially I kept more than a 2-degree edge along there during my process. So I'm satisfied with that. So here's that painted, and I'm just going to kind of come and see. Okay, so this side was the opposite, you know what I mean? I'm actually, so I was less than 1 degree there. I was less than 2 degrees. So this is a 2-degree edge. It's trying to make it sharp this way. So I'm coming in and sharpening that down. If it's 90, then it's going to take off this left side. And that's why your edge just sticks up on these cap skis, and they're easier to file, because you would have to be grinding into the ski. I mean, you're trying to shave away that side of the edge. And so if the ski actually gets in the way, you have to find a way to chisel that out, because your file will not cut through that fiberglass. Okay, hell yeah. So, yeah, that is interesting. It's not the most accurate. So the second tool that you would want in your arsenal, and maybe like one of the first major tools, is just a file guide. But I would get the traditional file guide. You know, I mean, this is just Sun Valley Ski Tools. I can't imagine they're 120 bucks. But I would just get one. I would get a 1 degree or a 2 degree. Wouldn't get a 3 degree. Hell no. Oh, let's get this forward. And I got to take a look at this footage. I'll be bummed out if it's not very good, if you can't see anything. All right, hell yeah. Okay, back at it. We're going to do some more hand tuning, and I might as well just juice up this entire. I'm just going to focus on the edge first, so we'll detune later. I didn't detune that other ski anyway, but I think this is a good idea. Just grab a Sharpie that you don't care about and get this edge just thoroughly juiced up. So yeah, if you're going, but it is so fascinating that you can just do 2 passes with a file guide, because you can apply that just juicy amount of pressure and it's all set up. But this is just, it's really difficult to apply that correct amount of pressure. Yeah, I almost need to like overshoot it and then apply it, undershoot it and apply a lot of pressure. There you go. So kind of overshoot it and then undershoot and apply a lot of pressure just to make sure I maintain that. But this one doesn't really, you can be aggressive and put in that extra angle, you know. The mistake on this one is just to go past flat. You know, so you always want this angle this way. Easier said than done, because it can be real easy just to start rounding over on this file. Yeah, and maybe longer strokes are better, because, yeah, maybe the shorter strokes are probably awful. You just turn your, well, I don't know, it's like those snowboards. Libtech has shraded edges. But it's that pressure that actually is kind of the cutting. All right, hell yeah. So I'm pretty satisfied with that. Let's flip it, grip it. But I'm loving this vise, man. I didn't think I could come up with something today that was going to be this good. Just because, man, this ski's going nowhere. It's actually maybe even better than, yeah, I don't know. It's really good. What up? Oh yeah, file. And yeah, I think if you're going to do this by hand, Sharpie is the way to go. No reason not to color your entire edge all the way down, because you'll just be able to see what you're doing. Huh, whoops. Okay. All right, let's try to take longer passes now that we have that. But yeah, you have to... Yeah, it's interesting. So I'm definitely over beveled, so that's cool. I mean, I'm making it sharper. I'm hitting this left side. And especially for your first passes, that's always good. Just make sure you're on that left side. And then the thing that I haven't been doing is just kind of getting up and close and personal and actually seeing the results, feeling the results. You know, because it doesn't take much. And so, yeah, doing it kind of a little bit faster, I over beveled that little area. So let's try to make it sharp. Pressure on the left, and then right through there, just really good pressure on that left side. We'll do one more. Pressure on the left. Cool. So I think we're good. Gonna dust that off. Hell yeah. All right, so I don't know. You know what I mean? I guess it's a good skill to have. I don't know why you'd want... I mean, the reason you would do your edges by hand is because you don't want to buy a file guide. And you want to say, hell no. It's not worth the money. But let's grab our file guide. And let's see. Well, what can you see? We're going to get our clamps on here. And we colored in our edge. Because I'm just really curious to see like how well we did. I'm going to take a... Oh yeah, it's hitting there. So yeah, this needs to be up higher. But yeah, that's why you need clamps. That's not going to hit. There you go. So sweet, that's not going to hit. Okay. All right, good pressure. And so we're too sharp. So if it's hitting the right side, we did too good of a job. If it's hitting the left side, so we're about even, hitting the left side here. So right through there, we can get this sharper. And we should even feel that. Like, is this, like, what side, I mean, does this feel sharper because we we actually put about a 3 degree in there? And hell yeah. So let's analyze this little section. All right, let's see where we got to the edge. Okay, sweet. All right, I'm gonna call it. But this was the underfoot part, you know what I mean? So this was what we were trying to clean up and make crispy. I don't think it's as bad as this ski. So I'm going to say that this ski was the most haggard underfoot. Here's another good opportunity that I'm going to take to actually look at how much edge material that we actually have to grind away. And this is where I want to get better and take a ski from the very beginning. And what I should have done is you just get like a digital gauge from Harbor Freight and just kind of mark an area that you want to, measure the width, and then just measure the width of that edge. And then if there's any markable difference after you sharpen the edges, you can make a mental note of that to be like, hey, I did a very light, you know what I mean? I sharpened them with as minimal passes as possible, and this is how much I removed. Or you can do the opposite, be like, whoa, I think I removed quite a bit to like set those edges in, and I'm just curious of how much life of the ski that I reduced. Just to be cautious about that, because that's the only thing about hand tuning is it's just one of those things where it's fun to do it because you're gaining all this skill, but you're taking away the life of a ski. But I don't know. I've had my skis for 20 years, and I've dug into them quite a bit. I mean, they hardly have any width left. This direction from grinding, this direction from sharpening. But hell yeah, I mean, you can still use that as the learning process, and most people will get brand new skis, or you know, the process goes, you should probably get brand new skis every 4 years just to stay up with the times. But you are, like, a ski only has so much life. But I don't know, then it goes to someone that doesn't really care and can use it for the rest of its life, you know, until it's a rock ski or something like that. So that's kind of the, okay, so sweet. So now, you know, I mean, I don't really, you know, all this metal and stuff. So we're going to take a scraper. We are done. Well, we need to detune. So I'm going to go back. We're going to detune, and then we're going to be ready to wax. But I do need to take a scraper across this because we just have so much metal. And I don't know, you know what I mean? The pros, they're going to tape off their whole ski, and then you're going to run your file guide along a taped surface. It's not as smooth, you know what I mean? You really want like a metal tape. And that just gets expensive. Like, I think what you would want, the pro thing to do would probably be like aluminum tape or some sort of tape that's, excuse me. I don't know, you know what I mean? Or just thick painter's tape, and go one side and then the other, and then have a strip down the middle. But you want your entire, I think you want your entire ski to be coated. Like, if it's a race ski and you don't want this to happen ever, then you honestly need, you need a way to coat your entire ski in tape and then go shave off, you know, but even with your base edge, you can't set your base edge if you have any tape there. So even with your base edge, you're going to introduce metal shavings into that ski. You know, I don't know what you do at the highest World Cup level of, like, you know, what do you do? But obviously you can get this out of there by scraping and brushing, waxing, scrape, brush. All right, so we're going to finish the detuning process. We have our emery cloth. I'm just going to make sure these tips and tails, and I'm just going to use the emery cloth to detune, and I should be good there. And yeah, using that blue tape to see if I'm actually doing anything. I'm sorry, I kind of say the wrong things, but yeah, that blue marker. Hell yeah, trying to just remove that rust right on that edge. So just really try to dive right in. But yeah, that rust can catch up, slow you down, and it's just gonna get rustier, you know what I mean? So removing that rust, you're doing a really good service there. And sorry if you can't see anything. Let's see, I need to get the camera right about there probably. All right, and just kind of round that edge and then just go right to the contact point. So we're just dulling the edge, going right to the contact point. Then again, feel. Hey, does that feel dull? Hell yeah. Does this feel sharp? Sharp enough. Yeah, it just kind of dulls out through there, so that's good. It's actually perfect. All right, this ski is ready to be scraped. Get all that metal off of there. This ski, we just need to focus on that detune. Whoops, need to open this up just a touch. All right, that feels totally detuned, and it's just cool where you can feel it. You're just like, oh hell yeah, I just did that. You know, so ski tuning is a game of, like, could you feel if you did something? Because that's the thing, it's like you should challenge yourself to be like, oh, I don't know where I'm at in the process, or I don't know if I did that to that ski. Well, it's a good challenge to just go up and feel. So we're going to do that, like, right now. We're going to see if we, if it feels like we already detuned both sides of this ski. Yeah, I think we probably did. Like, I don't see any rust. It's nice and smooth. And hell yeah. And yeah, just like even from the glove, I can feel that roundedness, that smoothness. And I don't know, you know what I mean? And then even just taking a gloved surface and going down like that, I probably wouldn't, you know, do this. But mainly you're just kind of doing this to kind of feel for that sharpness. You can do the you know, shave fingernails. But yeah, the other thing you're looking for is that burr though, and I totally forgot that, yeah, because you can feel what direction maybe that burr is. If I take my fingernail across this way, it feels like there's a little crispy little, like curled up lip. This way is smooth. So, okay, so I guess that shows that you do need one more tool. So you need, bummer. So maybe you can't do this in 20. But, I mean, just, we have a filed edge. And so if I do notice that, then all I have is my file to go smooth that out. So I'm going to kind of feel where that is. And could I just drag my file, just using my file. Now I'm focused on kind of over beveling. And actually this is fascinating to me because I've never really done this, where and then I'm going to come in. This is where you'd want to chop this in half, like and you could try to break this file, but nah, I don't know. Yeah, that's where you just need two. And I don't know, but you really can't cut a file because you can't cut it with a hacksaw. I don't think so. And if you cut it with an angle grinder, I think you're going to introduce too much heat. Like you'd want to constantly be applying ice cubes, like someone applying a stick of ice while you're grinding it with the angle grinder, just because you would want to do a cold cut so it wouldn't remove the temper. But essentially what it would be nice to actually have, because this thing is probably going to cost you, these things can cost up to 40 bucks now. That's crazy. I was really surprised that 40 to 50 bucks for one of these in the ski shop. That's what I thought. And bummer, I got some wax on it. That's bumming me out. But it'll go away. But yeah, these are diamond stones. And I guess, I mean, just a short piece of file is, you know, you're just kind of coming in here. I mean, just the smallness of this is really nice because I can just put it between my fingers. I'm feeling flat, and I'm just finding that smooth, and then going kind of right up against the edge. You know, finding flat. And honestly, if you have a brand new ski and you're doing everything with file guides, then you would just take this and do that same thing. And booyah. So then you're just maintaining that, you're just maintaining that, that edge. So I would say the $20 deal is where, you know, I mean, you just do this. Same thing. You're just kind of taking those very light passes. And same thing here. It's just a lot harder to, but you can hear that, you know what I mean? You can hear potentially where it gets just a little bit grittier and where it gets smoother. And hell yeah, and so just like sharpening a knife where you're taking that burr and then going one way and then the other, because that's technically kind of what you're feeling, either burr or, or places during that sharpening process that are a little crunchier, you know, not as smooth. But hell yeah, and then I'm just going to take my file like this. Same thing, it's a long file. It's a little bit harder to hold in the fingers, but hell yeah. So I think that's a pretty decent. And the other thing that you can do is just take shorter strokes. I would take shorter strokes like this with, but I'm not trying to cut a whole lot. You know, I'm not applying a lot of pressure. It's the same thing here of just taking this. So then, you know, I can actually come in, you know, and do that and that. And now, so then if I do it again, let's hear it. Smooth. Come over here. Still just a little bit rough. You know what I mean? So let's see if we can come in here. And we're trying to kind of put a polish on that surface. So yeah, it is definitely a lot smoother. So let's find a place where it's rough. So that sounds rough, feels rough. Just taking light passes. Trying to over bevel just a little bit, just to meet that edge. And yeah, it feels, it sounds better. But if you have one of these diamond tools, I mean, you're smoothing that edge, that's one aspect. And then you're kind of meeting up to that point as well to deburr on both sides. But even just a smooth edge is going to ride through snow, slipperier than... okay, so now we can notice the sound difference. So the diamond stone, yeah, I totally forgot about the diamond stone. Is so this probably makes, if you bought, I would buy. Well, I'd probably buy this tool because you can find it easier than this tool. So I'd buy this tool first, but I would be in the market for one of these to get that sharp scraper, because you're just, still I'd buy this tool first, you know what I mean? But these two tools, you know, probably, yeah, I would buy these before an iron, though. I would get an iron at the thrift store. All right, hell yeah. So I think we're about done. We're gonna finish this edge with this tool. Now, yeah, I noticeably, yeah, this because it got stone ground, like right through there, is just noticeably smoother than up here. I really can't do much for that roughness with this file. But, I mean, yeah, it still feels plenty smooth. But this, actually, you can feel that release. It still has almost like a vibrational tension to it. Where this feels glossy. So that diamond stone is the way to go. I'm not going to finish these skis with the diamond stone. Well, I don't know. Yeah, 20 bucks. That was the whole idea of this video. Be able to tune skis for 20 bucks. And so the fact that, and I should be able to, diamond stone one of the edges, but then still try to get that same, you know, if this is the tool that I have, try to get that same smoothness with this tool. And I'm not trying to take off, I'm just almost trying to use it like kind of polishing. All right. Yeah. Yeah, it is interesting. It's interesting what you can do with 20 bucks, but it also is interesting what the, you know, a diamond stone. Diamond stones are pretty sweet. And a diamond stone in a file, man. But the base edge, you're still going to have to do that kind of by hand, because what's going to happen is you're going to get a tool like this and you're going to put it in place. You're going to get your file guide, and guess what? Like, nothing's going to happen. You know, like you're just barely shaving away anything, and you're not even getting up to that edge because it's only setting a 1 degree. So this is kind of fascinating where, and we already said, like underfoot, that's like a 5 degrees. So you can't even catch anything underfoot. And then we said some of, like the other ski was base high. I'm sorry, the other ski was edge high. You know, kind of near the middle. And so, so hell yeah, if we do this, you know what I mean, you would be able to capture that. But this tool only gets you so far, and if your skis are already like over beveled, like the base edge, you're for sure going to have to figure out by hand. I've never used just this tool when base edging, because all skis, and the other thing is that I just use a belt. like if you have a belt grinder, you're flattening the base. And what you can do is this is, I don't know, this is kind of interesting, because you can't flatten the base 100% and get it totally flat. And if you already have like a 3-degree edge, you're just never going to get that back without removing hell of a lot. And it's difficult to remove a lot. And so there is a balancing act there where, I don't know, this might be controversial, but on the belt grinders, you can feel what's flat. So I do, like, you know, I get it as flat as I need to, but then I also take a pass where it makes contact. I mean, because if you have a base high and you're just hitting the grinder, it's just hitting like right there. It ain't hitting out there. So then I kind of take a controlled flexed path where I can notice that it's hitting the edge. And so and just visually too, you can also just mark your edge and then go across the belt grinder and know that you're going up to that edge at least. And that can do the same thing that we're doing here, just with a machine. Because if I know that underfoot, like, hell, we got 3 degrees, but I do kind of want to kind of polish that off, and the belt grinder can take away that material. So instead of just having a flat surface and then a 3-degree, what I can do is you know, kind of do that to the base, and then you do impart a little bit of a roundness to the base, but it can be way better than this. This edge is so far down there where the snow, this gets into the way when you're on the snow, and it, you know what I mean, compared to even if it's just a little bit flat, if you're removing some of that base material. So I don't know, it's just is what it is in the industry. It's just like, if the manufacturers are giving you a ski and you're trying to get the rider the best experience, there is physics there that you can use to your benefit. And we don't live in, you know, like the ski world 40 years ago, where everything is narrow and that no one wants to do any adjustments at all. We live in a world where, you know, if you do put this into your snowboard, like a lot of snowboard companies use that, like a rocker this way, as a benefit. You know what I mean? So with wide powder boards too, that does give you a little bit of a benefit too. And you're still, yeah. So I would say it's an improvement, especially if someone already put like the machines already put a hella over beveled base, that you can kind of repair that, not by removing half your ski, flattening it this way, but doing a few passes, but then kind of finishing with a little bit of an angled pass. But I don't know, yeah, it's kind of a controversial thing, I would say. But it's just one of those things where it's cool to be on the experimental side of things, to be like, well, no, this is, like, I'm going to do this with my skis, I'm going to tune them that way and go ride them, and feel that that's how, and yeah, skiing is one of those things where it's just like ski techs can say something that they don't know even actually works. You know, they're just saying words when it's not, it's kind of theory instead of like, you know, it's like, no, I understand what I'm doing and I'm feeling what I'm doing. And that comes down to like seeing what you're doing as a ski tech. What are we doing? We're going to, yeah, that's the most important part of the game, is to do something and see what you're doing and see the difference, because it's definitely, like, ski tuning is an art that requires you to get hella close and to actually visualize, and you're using your eyeballs, and for sure eyeballs and fingers to get an idea of what you did to the ski. All right, so booyah. So hopefully our scraper is fairly sharp, and we're gonna come in and this has got to be burning up, so we're gonna switch batteries. All right, check the juice. Yeah, we only have 5 more minutes on this SD card. We gotta do something about that. All right, hell yeah. So we're gonna finish up. We got a new battery in, and booyah, the college national football game's on right now. So let's see if we can bust this out pretty fast. So with these clamps, you really only need one, which is kind of cool with this setup. You know, just kind of one in the middle, and so we can you know, scrape to one side or the other. All right, hell yeah, I guess we'll continue using this. But yeah, let's show you the difference. So like right in here, it's kind of black. You know what I mean? It feels all right. But even this one, let's see if this is still, yeah, just you can feel the drag resistance on something that was sharpened on that guy. All right. Whoa, whoa, whoa. All right, hell yeah. So we'll see if we wax twice, maybe just once, but who knows. But yeah, we at least want to get quite a bit of that metal out. So just with a pre-scrape. Whew. Man, that's dirty. But yeah, we'll see. I'd imagine, yeah, waxing and scraping and brushing will pull that out, I don't know, better than cleaner. I mean, probably right now you'd want to use maybe some sort of cleaner and have it dry. But, right, who cares? Is that kind of, no, I don't know. Actually, I mean, these got hella dirty for sure from that process. And I think the other thing, that file was oily. It was brand new file, so we have some of that oil impregnated with kind of that dirt. Okay, we're gonna light that up, and then we're gonna wax. And I guess you'll have to find some sort of wax, but wax is pretty cheap, you know what I mean? Someone might give you a stick of wax, so that still can be done with, you know, and this is consumable. I was thinking, you know, it's like, hey, if you have to buy the tools, and I want to get into ski tuning, and damn, we can't use this waxer. That was the whole point. We got this. I'm glad I caught that. Holy Toledo. We have to use the $6. So sweet, I'm glad I'm talking as I go. Because, yeah, that was the whole point of being like, hey, for $20 in tools, can you do a ski tune? And I've never actually used an iron like this, but we're gonna crank it. So hell yeah, all the way up to cotton. And booyah. Yeah, it smells like clothes. Alright, still get this respirator on. And yeah, definitely get where you can see. So if I do this, I think you can see the GoPro good. It's not too low, it's not too high. Alright, hell yeah. So it's heating up. A lot of holes. There's no water in this thing. I checked that, so that's good. Hell yeah. Oh yeah, it gets plenty hot. Actually too hot. Yeah, so it's already hot. You know, to adjust the temperature, you know, if this thing gets smoking, hell yeah, just really unplug it. You know, don't even worry about the dials. Just friggin' unplug it and then douse it with wax and then use it. Use it until it starts cooling off. That's gonna be, and we gotta hella get this. Just because you don't want one to smoke up your location. So let's get this going. And two, you don't want to smoke your wax. Yeah, this thing has a ton of heat. It's just big, you know. Alright, so we're no longer smoking. We're doing pretty good on that. So now I'm going to plug this baby back in. And let's see. We'll just turn it to nylon. You know, the lowest temp. Let's see if the lowest temperature won't smoke. And I'm still really cold on this, so you know what I mean. I'm definitely applying the right amount of heat, even though I'm staying a lot. Yeah.
So there you go. You don't want to heat up the base too much though. I typically just do kind of one pass, kind of melt it, and then you get to see how much it's melted. And then, you know what I mean? Yeah, that's that. You know what I mean? So melt it out in front, get it evenly distributed, because that will distribute the heat evenly as well. And back to nylon. Holy Toledo. And if you are smoking, what I do is I just take it up to the area where the wax is colder, and that can slow down the temperature of your iron. Alright, try to see what I'm doing. Yeah, so you want sufficient heat, but definitely don't scorch the wax, don't smoke the wax, and I don't do 2 passes. I mean, if you're gonna do 2 passes, just scrape, brush, wax again. You know what I mean? Because that wax is perfect. Okay, so hell yeah. So now next ski. I mean, hell yeah. If you use half the wax, but you definitely need enough wax. All right, yeah, we got to get this. I don't know why I'm yelling. Or hell yeah. Yeah, it's still a little cold. Well, now we're smoking. Oh. Yeah, it's if you can spare the wax, that's why I wouldn't buy expensive wax. I would get it in hella bulk, just so you can use it kind of as a lubrication. Need to get this way. Yeah, because that takes the heat too, you know what I mean? So if you're really close to that smoking point, but hell yeah. I just unplug it. I should have unplugged it about halfway down the ski. But even right here, we should be pretty good. You know, it's unplugged, it's losing heat. And then it can get to that place where it's not going to just sit there and smoke whatever wax is left on there. Okay, hell yeah. And we can even put this, you know, kind of near a fan source. That'll cool down pretty fast. Alright, sweet. Okay. And if this is our first scrape, you can do it warm. I knew that was going to happen. These are deadly. Okay, sweet. So if this is, yeah, if this is our first scrape, we can kind of do a warm scrape. It doesn't have to get, you know, you don't want it too hot to the touch. But yeah, this is the only bummer about this $20 tune is using this as a sharpener. It works all right. I'm actually happy to find out that you can use sandpaper like this to sharpen your scraper fairly sharp. But it's definitely not as crisp. I mean, it's sharp. You know, it's sharper than most. But you can just feel it takes just a little bit more effort. And yeah, so this was the dirty kind of areas. So I'm just going to really focus in on those. Try to pull that dirt out of there. Especially when we brush. I just don't want any dirt or any wax over those areas while we try to brush these dirty areas out. Alright, so that was one side of the scraper. and we're pretty much thoroughly dull. Always good to remove the wax kind of on the edge. Okay, sweet. So I'm going to go to a new side of this scraper. All right, booyah. Yeah, a little dirt right in there. Okay, sweet. So I used those two sides. I'm gonna switch skis. Actually, I'm gonna come back with this dull side just to hit the tip and tail. Right here it dulls out your scraper pretty good, so we'll come back to that. You just really dive in those edges. Whoop, whoop, whoop. All right, my bad. And we have two of these. So yeah, especially if you're working on the tips and tails, it's nice to have two of these wood clamps. There you go. But it just shows you can have a short table, have this way sticking out, but it's still really rigid. All right, clean up that dirt. Okay, sweet. So now I'm gonna go to these sharper edges now. I got two sharp edges. Hell yeah, see that? Okay, sweet. All right, now I'm gonna get the other sharp edge. Just gonna really work on those dirty areas. We'll try to brush that stuff out, but yeah, just really trying to remove all that wax from those dirty areas. Okay, sweet. So now I'm gonna brush. Ah, damn it.
Okay, for 20 bucks, you don't own a brush. So, but you do own a piece of Scotch-Brite. So yeah, we can't use a brush, but we can use a piece of Scotch-Brite. I'm gonna go find a new piece, because this is a little bit haggard up. But yeah, so that's the third tool. Probably the third tool that you want is a wire brush. I would get a wire. You can get a horsehair, but even this is a wire and then horsehair on the edge. Kind of a gimmick. You know what I mean? This is just a wire brush with horsehair on the edge. This is going to be your cheapest, kind of a smaller block. Not going to cost you much, but a wire brush is really, like, I don't even think I own. I don't know. Yeah, I don't think that came with the package. One of these that was just all horsehair. Oh, no, my bad. No, I think this is wire. It's really hard to tell whether that's wire or it's all horsehair. But no, horsehair is smooth. It's stiff, but no, you can totally tell the difference between wire. Okay, hell yeah. See, you just need a wire brush. But we don't own that for 20 bucks. If you're buying tools, this is the... And yeah, you can get I don't know, just a wire brush. It's a ski tool related, but those are the three tools that you would want to buy. You know what I mean? This is extra. This is extra. I would get this almost first, even though you're going to buy this first. But really be thinking about getting this tool first. Sharpen your scraper. This is small. Like it's kind of a bummer that. I mean, you would want the wider one, but I can still sharpen a scraper on that hella. All right, so I'm gonna go find new Scotch-Brite because that's what you'd have for 20 bucks. Catch you on the flip side. All right, hell yeah, I got some Scotch-Brite. So booyah, I got some brand new pieces of Scotch-Brite. We'll just kind of grab a small chunk. I've actually never really used Scotch-Brite, but because of that dirt, I'm just gonna go kind of back and forth. The final pass after we wax again, I'll go one direction, but and then yeah, kind of, yeah, you're picking up wax, but yeah, you really want to scrape just really good, because else you're gonna pick up too much wax. And I probably should have, I probably should have Scotch-Brited before waxing that first time. I don't know, like it's been a while. I'd never really hand tune that often, just because if you have all the power tools, well, no, I guess I do. I hand edge. I was just surprised how dirty that got. It usually doesn't get that dirty where it's that big of a deal. But hell yeah, I'm just kind of working on those dirty areas. But we did a really good job of scraping where you're not picking up just a ton of wax. But the wax you are picking up, hopefully it's picking up some of that dirt. All right. Can you see anything? So I'd say we are way cleaner. Yeah, that's kind of fascinating, just how much cleaner we are. And I mean, is this process gonna make sense? Because you can do like what you do with files, be like downward pressure and then just release the pressure on the way back. So this would be brushing your ski with Scotch-Brite. Because you don't, oh bummer, man. I was just gonna say, holy hell, let's get this going before I talk. Oh, I'm just gonna die. Yeah, we're a little dirty in here. I was just saying, like, I don't know what the fuck I was saying. Oh, I shouldn't be swearing. I kind of curbed that habit with the YouTube videos. That one slipped though. Sweet, yeah, I think we're pulling quite a bit. And then you could even grab a fresh sheet of Scotch-Brite. But yeah, you don't want wax. You don't want a waxy base. You want this. You want very smooth. You know, there's wax on there. It's impregnated into the hairy base. Like, even if your base looks smooth, it's still hairy as hell. And then when you actually do a grind on a machine, it just gets hella hairy. You know what I mean? Where then you wax, brush, scrape, ski, and then that's what the racers do. Like, a freshly tuned ski is a slow ski after you do a grind. Then you have to do that skiing. Skiing smooths it, waxing, brushing, that smooths it, and you're taking all that hairy base, laying it flat, making it into a juicy surface. All right, so one more, and then we're ready. What are we ready to do after this? We're ready to wax again. And so here's where our PTEX repair was, and yeah, it looks great. You know what I mean? It's got maybe a little touch of air, but we did it in 2 chunks. So, but yeah, I'm gonna say that's looking pretty good. All right, no whammies on this one. Yeah, so I'm gonna just kind of hit those those dirty areas. And yeah, this really does pick up the dirt. I'm actually really impressed. Just using wax to pick up that dirt, waxing, scraping, and then brushing. That's what I thought, you know what I mean? It's better than putting a bunch of cleaning solvents into your base that are gonna dry it out. You know, we might as well just keep applying goodness. But yeah, I don't know, yeah, I was kind of bummed. Maybe I should play around with hand edging and then figuring out some sort of cleaning using a Scotch-Brite and some maybe alcohol. Just Scotch-Brite and light cleaner that's not gonna affect the wax. But literally anything though, like sure, you put wax, you put alcohol on this, you can't get molecularly that alcohol out of there. And I just don't think it's going to, I don't know, like I'm still set on this process. A little bit of dirt, but hell yeah, we're gonna wax and brush and get that out of there. All right, sweet. Yeah, see, a little dirt right there. And we're just gonna come in. This should clean that up. It might be kind of impregnated from a P-Tex job though, but okay, hell yeah. All right, we are almost there. One more wax, one more brush and scrape, or one more scrape and brush with the Scotch-Brite, and we have officially done our $20 tune. And it's a tune done with $20 worth of equipment, you know what I mean? So, and you should be able to find some wax, bum some off a friend. Yeah, wax is pretty expensive. You can't even get like a small chunk of wax for, you know, 10 bucks anymore, I swear. All right, let's get this on. That's a pumping. Let's get that thing cranked. All right, can you see anything? Oh, we are smoked. All right, sweet. Just kind of checking the temperature just to make sure it's hot enough. Gonna crank it up just a little bit. Oh, damn. Okay, yeah, some water came out. Bummer. That's a royal bummer, but whatever. Yeah, it's gonna crackle like spaghetti, bacon. Yeah, just a little bit of water in this thing. I didn't think there was any, but whatever. Oh yeah, wax getting bunched up. Yeah, so we're a little bit cold, but that's all right. Yeah, definitely a little bit cold on the iron. It's a little dangerous because then you might apply you might stay in one place too long. All right, hell yeah. All right, one done. Now what can you see? Yeah, I think that's good. All right, booyah. All right, so I go out in front and just see how fast it melts.
Gives me kind of an indication. Also the smoke temperature of it. If it's smoking, you know the temperature of it, you know what I mean? It's a little bit hot. But hell yeah, so I can go over once, kind of see where it's melting, where it's not. You know, first is just kind of smooth that out, and then kind of get it up to temperature, and then just move the hell on, you know what I mean? Don't go over that spot again. That just keeps you from applying too much heat. So just kind of working on that little area, smoothed it out, applied the heat. Oh yeah, we gotta unplug. All right, hell yeah, done. This goes a long way. Like, that's gonna cool off. It's not gonna smoke. And all right, hell yeah. So that one's, you know, yeah, these skis are plenty warm now. So now I'm gonna let them chill out
For a little bit, we're gonna come back, catch on the flip side. All right, hell yeah, back at it.
All right, booyah. So we are going to scrape, and then we're going to be done. Scrape and brush. So hell yeah. Get this going. And kind of do that same process. Going to get the tips and tails first. See if I have any sharpness left on this scraper. And hell yeah, that's plenty sharp. Kind of do that first pass. But even that, it kind of is bumming me out that I'm not allowing myself to go to that sharp scraper. But I think let's do that. Let's finish. Even though this isn't part of the $20, there was a lot of this video that wasn't anyway. So, but it really shows you the difference of like why would this be? Like these two, a scraper and that tool will be the first thing you get. It's just because, just unprecedented sharpness. I just feel it, and that satisfaction is pretty sweet. Okay, I mean, just such light pressure, and it's just cutting through. So it's just really cool. And that's going to allow you to pull up more dirt, have a cleaner base, remove more wax, make your brushing way easier. All right, sweet. And then even just coming over these repaired areas, you can kind of get a final cut if you have a sharp scraper on that area. All right, let's see how we are. All right, looking good. Just gonna do this right through underfoot, and might as well. And yeah, let's grab a fresh one of these. I need some scissors of some sort. See if these have any power. Sweet. Yeah, I mean, you can find Scotch-Brite anywhere. So Scotch-Brite's pretty cheap. Yeah, short strokes could be good, you know what I mean? Because you can apply a lot of pressure. But again, just like using a file, I'm just applying it in one direction and then sliding it back. Okay, you can just tell how smooth that is compared to up here. It's waxed, but it's not like oily, waxy smooth. So definitely brushing can get you that. All right, hell yeah. And we'll do the other side for the other ski. It's good to get used to kind of working both directions, two hands. We're going left-handed. Yeah, short strokes. Just applying pressure on the cutting direction. Going with the ski. And, man, can you see anything? Whew. All right, so I'm happy about this stand, but yeah, I think the name of the game is any time that you can put two clamps, you're just going to be rock solid. The only thing that I would do, if these were dedicated, I would chop these off, just because when I go to put them down here, they like get in the way. I can't just hang them right there. So that's the only bummer about that. But hell yeah, two clamps, you can put as much pressure on this as you want. All right, so one done. You can always kind of do long passes in the end, but hell yeah, so one done. So there you go. I'm gonna do a slow shot of the other one. But hell yeah, just a really nice tune, all done with 20 bucks worth of materials. And for sure there were some educational moments, but there was at least one edge on each ski that wasn't touched by any fancier equipment. All right, so we gotta scrape these. The tips and tails typically dull your scraper, so let's see where we're at. So both these two sides are done. I'm going to flip it this way. Yeah, we got a little more juice there. Alright, this will be the last edge. Let's see if this... And yeah, this is just such a fascinating tool. But yes, if this is the longer one, it doesn't get cut up as much. And it works way better, but still, that shorter one, man, you can just get such crisp, sharp scraper. All right, so that's one edge. Okay, even with one sharp edge, yeah, there's nothing more to scrape. All right, sweet. I think we have a lot of chunked wax. I'm never too worried about that. I really don't care, but if it's big and on the edge, you know, coming across the edge just one time. All right, hell yeah. So we're gonna brush this and then we're done. All right, so here's our Scotch-Brite. Here's the fresh side. Same thing. Let's try to do left-handed. I gotta mix it up, keep my back limber, I think. But yeah, anytime that you can get two clamps on this, I think it's kind of the take-home point. It's just well worth it. And then hell yeah, see, there's wax that we could come in. If you do hit a pocket, why brush? But there's you go. So I can kind of tell that this is edge high in here. You know what I mean? And then we found that. So just all those little clues along the way, you know, keep popping up. And it's just good to make those mental notes. And there you go. So you can still, you don't want that wax there. You just kind of want that oily sheen. I don't mind working shorter strokes. It's still just like using a file with shorter strokes. It's probably going to be more accurate. You can tell what the hell you're doing. And it's just good to develop maybe that technique first. All right, sweet. And do one long pass. Hey, we're done. You know what I mean? We have 2 skis, the $20 tune, pretty satisfied, and hell yeah. So I'm just gonna do the slow motion. And sweet, I can take this off my head, so there you go. Yeah, just looking real shiny. Oh yeah, and the edges are crisp. The edges feel great. So hell yeah, with $20 worth of equipment, you can do an excellent job. And it's a really cool skill to learn. Hella messy, definitely toxic. Wear a respirator. I guess that's not part of the 20 bucks. But hell yeah, so we did it. So thanks for joining me on this one, and guess what? That's a video.